This is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green.
Ekabo, and welcome to the Ifa Orisa traditional discussion with your regular host, Baba Waliwa, Daniel John.
Sabora boye ekali. Alright, all. Well, here again another week in Ifa Orisa discussions, and I'd like to welcome all to this next session. Well, as we has been talking about restoration, cultural restoration, I think is something we still need to kind of carry further. But kind of stretching it too, because not any conversation amongst others. Like when I had the conversation in terms of co-wives or other polygamy, whole week people have been calling and discussing on polygamy and asking on opinion and such. But a matter dealing as restoration, which would kind of put all of those things kind of in a perspective. We not really, I not get any kind of feedback. Because either people in capture it yet, or maybe people hasn't really, pay attention to it. This week I was just attended a little session. I don't really go places much, but sister, she asked for my presence and it was there. And, she was glad for my presence, but, when you look at things from the outside, we see, yes, people might be holding on to things that might be dear to them. But we have to understand that there are things that we must be mindful of. And if we're not mindful of such things, we will tend to lose the whole grasp of what we are there for. I'm looking for a document here, which was dealing with the 4 pillars of Ifa. Truthfulness, hopefulness, righteousness, and patience. And they say those are basically the things that Ifa Orisa really structures around. And those who follow those things will have a blissful life or a blessed life, and we'll say a peaceful death. So even if I say anybody going to die, you should be glad to die because of the pillars in which you have lived on. Death wouldn't even be a problem. That we should, the death will still be blissful to us. And you should understand that, because by that you understand that we are spirit beings here for earthly experience, and this is just the experience. It comes like a marriage. You get marriage, you know where the experience of that marriage might go. It could be a long-lasting marriage, or it could be a marriage maybe a short period, but it will have some joy, sad moments, happy moments, different things. But it would be an experience that you will start, but it will come to an end. So either you, I, or my partner may die first, and then that marriage really would come to an end. So just say with life experience, it also, so with life, it will come to an end. But after that end, there will be another experience. So I think we should be looking forward to that new experience. But if we're not transformed, if we're not put in the proper mindset, we will tend to be losing it and just continue the cycles of life. I say where 200 die, 200 is born in the morning, according to Olodumare, because Olodumare in heaven don't want to be lonely. And Olodumare on earth don't want to be lonely. So anytime people may die, people are born, so there will always be people. Or you may say, we are made to go and come back. So going and come back is a normal process, but there's also a part of ascension to another level. And to reach there's a certain level of, growth, evolution, understanding, wisdom that one will have to live in this experience. So this is what the restoration, when we look at restoration in terms of like we restore ourselves to, we don't need to be the masses, but we could be the minority. Who are the minorities? Those who are to lead, those who are to set the proper example, those are the ones to save the world. You know? To mend the broken calabash, we are the ones who can mend the broken calabash. So the majority might just be there in the space, but the messiahs, the prophets, the leaders, they will always be in the minorities. All right? So, but if we don't try to help the majority restore themselves, restore their thinking, the work will always be hard for us. You know? It will always be hard.
Definitely, Baba.
All right? So, one other thing in restoration, cultural restoration, in terms of understanding our spirituality, out of the 4 pillars, truthfulness is one of our important pillars in which we must recognize.
All right, Baba.
Yeah.
We didn't open properly, yeah? So the first thing we need to do is to open properly before we enter.
Well, no, the first thing to do religiously, right?
Well, Baba, I mean, if you
Because
want to call it, that, but we must acknowledge we have a responsibility to always acknowledge the energies, the Himalayas, the ancestors, etc., before we proceed to doing anything.
Well, I say we'll do it. When I say we do it religiously, we'll do it in a religious format or a religious way, which we do it. You know. So I say, we give praise to the Olodumare, the Creator. Eleda and Eleda worry. We give praise. Because we are the manifestations and we are the link between the seen and the unseen world. And may our actions be of the character expected of us as ours, Onishare, Olorishas, Babalorishas, Omo, and Iawos. May our character be pleasing to Orunmila. When they ask Orunmila, who are your children? He said, those who have good character and those who are truthful and with integrity. Those are my true children. He never said those who were titles, never said those who are big gowns, but he said those who are truthful, good character, and with integrity. Those are my true children when they ask of the religion of Ifa. May Ifa continue to guide us, bless us, and may the ancestors, the heroes and heroes that has passed, who led the road that we are here now, may they be proud and may they be glad to bless us that we can continue the work until we too can hand over the mantle to others. We say, Aboru Aboye, Abo Shishe. Ashe. All right. So as we take truthfulness, it was reflected upon me that how do we see being truthful in Ifa is?
Well, Baba, truth is that which changeth not. If something is true today, it will be true. Yet it would have been true yesterday, and it will be true tomorrow. What was yesterday that is true has to also be true today, and also be true tomorrow. Truth doesn't change.
Say
that which changeth not.
Ododo, speak the truth, tell the facts. Otito Ododo.
Right? However, truth is not a comfortable thing a lot of times. There is an essay, Ifa, that speaks about truth. Right? However, that essay, Ifa, warns us about using truth as a form of abuse. So even though we have the obligation and the responsibility to be truthful, we also have the responsibility to be sensitive to other people. Because a lot of times, let me say this, the truth can be very unflattering for another person. So we have to be mindful of that, but nonetheless, our responsibility is to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There are many individuals who don't like to be told the truth about themselves,
Mm.
right? But our job is only to emphasize the importance of truth, and our job also is as an individual is to focus all of your energies to direct that level of truthfulness to yourself
Mm-hmm.
more so than anything else.
Mm.
Try always to live in truth. Try to be
Mm.
sincere. Try to be direct if possible, when it's possible, without using it as a means to injure other people,
Mm.
right? So even though something is true and it has to be presented, I am not saying that you should say anything else but the truth, but I am saying that one has to consider timeliness
Mm.
and the manner in which the truth is delivered. And a lot of
Exactly.
times, to reinstate and to remedy a lot of the problems we have in the community,
Mm.
we have to be truthful, firstly, with ourselves,
Mm.
and then, secondly, we have to be truthful with
Uh,
others.
with others. All right. And that is important because sometimes we look at things and may not even understand that, wait, I'm not really following the truth. But sometimes, as I say, if something is not you're not comfortable with, that don't mean it's not the truth. Somebody tell us something, yes, accept it, but you may not be comfortable. Because I say, if you're not offended, it's not the truth. You lie to somebody, they'll be happy with you. Thank you, they'll bless you. You know? I was looking at some of the things that we follow as practitioners of the tradition. And I'm putting it alongside in terms of what Ifa is saying. Those that are truthfully spiritual assist. You know?
There are endless SAE
Mm-hmm.
first to support that.
Yeah.
For that
And
matter, I think one time, and I'm going to give a personal account here, right? During what I do each month to get
mm-hmm.
an insight into the month, I was told particularly that if one is not truthful,
Mm-hmm.
that the ancestors and the energies will not support one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the directives that I got.
Yeah.
So I know from that particular SAEFA,
Mm-hmm.
it is very, very important for all devotees to aspire towards truthfulness,
Yeah.
particularly if they want the support of
Mm-hmm.
the energies.
And this because now, funny enough, as we say that, I I was looking this week and weekend pass, and usually when these people start the prayers, these young aspiring ministers of the tradition, they like to do litany, you know, and the aspect, ye wara iwara ode kiriwa shure di logun adojo ode kiriwa ode kiriwa shure di logun. Now, the translation of that speaks of we, your children, great Father, powerful one, has come to worship you on this 16th day of prayer. Yeah. We have come on this 16th day to give our worship, prayers, and supplications. Now, this is what we are singing. The Spirit, East, West, North, and South. Now, if the question was asked, where were you the last 16th day? You know?
Hmm.
Because remember I say, we will follow a pattern, but if we don't understand what we're doing, we might be shifting away sincerely too. Sometimes we might think we're doing something right, but we'll be doing wrong. But we maybe join ourselves on the party because here we are telling God that we are telling them a lie. We are telling the spirits a lie in a sense. We are not truthful because the last 16 days I wasn't studying prayers. But now we're here. We are using the phrase and we are doing the invocation. We are talking to the universe. But we are not truthful in what you are saying or what you are singing. So it begs on me that sometimes are we becoming our own worst enemy by our shortcomings because very few rather hold on something no matter what it is and take it as a truth, but rather to learn and be properly educated so I could really practice in the truth to make sure that whatever I do, there is a good result.
Well, Baba, I think you mentioned a key word.
Mm.
I wanted to talk about it, but I said, I'd stay away
Yeah.
from it. But
No,
now that
we're
you
having
have mentioned it,
discussions. uh-huh.
right? That word that you just used, education.
Mm-hmm.
It is a word that is very important, especially for the acquisition of truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? The average devotee depends very heavily on their olowo and others to provide some measure of guidance and education for them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say this. It is great to have a Baba Ifa.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful to have a Oluwo. But it is also more important for persons to take individual responsibility for their education. Listen to the words I used.
Mm-hmm.
Personal responsibility. That means you must do the best that you can to acquire the knowledge so that you can practice Isheshe in all its aspects. We chant and we say that we shall fulfill our traditional rights. How can you fulfill your traditional rights if you don't know what to do? So education is one of the keys. I am not going to appeal to leadership anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I am way past that.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking into myself
uh,
and I am
mm,
encouraging all the practitioners and even people who are interested. You may not be an Ifa Orisha devotee, but if you are interested, as I kept saying on my show, and I would keep saying it, find a local shrine and try to become familiar with the precepts of our tradition. It is your tradition also. We have been led away from it because of colonization. Before we practiced anything that we received after we became political prisoners,
mm,
we had a tradition.
mm,
Now that we are free people, the information is out here and it is now available to everyone. Do not be afraid of your own shadow. Your tradition is yours. Do not let
mm,
anyone tell you it is negative.
mm.
All right. So, again, the key is education. All right, Baba, let me let you continue.
All right. No, and that's it. But we have to be educated in the right practice. You know, a lot of people being educated at what they used to do or what they does do, but not what they must do. The principles that support it because everything has a principle. Remember the 4 pillars of Ifa: honesty, patience, humility, hopefulness. So with these 4 principles, we can be sure how we carry our life. So we have to be honest. If we're not honest with yourself, we can't be honest to nobody. Right now, I just tell people in the tradition is because I maybe eat a big tablet of patience that I'm still alive, I'm still here, and I can still carry on, and I'll still come out to do what I have to do. But if I didn't have the patience, I'd done walk out and find something else. Humility.
No,
Humility doesn't mean
Baba,
bowing to
please,
others.
Let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
The IA is the marketplace, and we come here to shop.
Mm.
You know, when you go to the market,
Mm.
it doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket.
Yeah.
Your objective is to get your goods,
Mm. Yeah.
whatever you could afford that you need, and go home.
Mm.
If you go to the market and you meet a vendor that greedy and wicked and disrespectful, you go turn around and pack up your bag and go home with
You're
no
going
goods.
away.
So
Yeah.
where you
No,
go feed your children?
no,
Where you
but
go
just
enjoy
showing
your
her.
life?
Yeah, because the challenges that are there, you know. But
So
some of
Baba,
the
we have to be
humility,
patient. We have to
yeah,
be patient, Suru.
and the humility that we carry yourself about, don't mean I know how to. I don't need to curse you back if somebody curse me. Somebody could say speak ill of me. I don't need to go on and do a life to speak ill of them. All right, I know enough spells, enough rituals, enough thing that I could deal with it. But I humble myself because my Odu, Ogbe Barada, or Ogbe Barabara, or Ogbe Bara, whatever name one want to call it. Speak that no matter what good I do, they will still speak bad of me. You know? So when I didn't understand Ifa, I used to just say people was wicked. You know? You're there in somebody place. Well, them days when I was like, I used to be them people who in people feast yard. By the time the week start, I buy you, and I might leave till wherever. And sometimes something missing, they're looking at you. But I don't even go and use your inside toilet, whatever outside that is for use, I will use it. You know? So, you always have these things, but when Ifa show me, don't matter, you have something important to do. Look where I am now. You know?
Baba, so we must stay focused on our destiny.
On our destiny. And this is why, as you were talking about in restoration of our life, if we are not in tune, go back to your Odu, initiate and get your Ifa, know your life path, because that'll be the beginning of restoration in your life to really see the blessings we're supposed to take. You can go to how much Orishas, I think the Odu speak of, this person who had went to so much, he went to Oro, he went to Egungun, he went to Ajay, he went to this, he went to all of them till he became ball. You decide to throw away Ifa and all because I'm doing all this ebo, but I'm not receiving the blessing. They said they do feed your Ori. Or what? Oba, Boro, thing? Boro, Tiribo. Who's Boro, Tiribo, the Orisha? They say human mouth. You went to Ogun, you went to this one, you went to that one, but have you fed? So a lot of people, though, and feeding don't really mean keeping a feast. Oh, well, that you have to keep a feast. If you keep a feast to feed TV bo, keep a feast to feed people, not to bring Orisha. And sometime 2, 3 in the morning, you decide to share some food. So we have to understand, let us restore our thing. We are doing something for children. Let us do that the children could benefit and the children could receive the ashe. We're doing something for a couple in a marriage. Let me do the rituals that they could receive the blessings. We're doing a
Baba,
Thanksgiving. Do it so the family can receive the grace and the
I
benefits.
want to read an essay, Ifa, from
Uh-huh.
Otura Ogunda,
Oh, Gunda.
right? The essay reads, you want me to read it in Yoruba and English or just English alone?
Well, it's always I say for the reader, but it's good that they could hear the thing, but they could read the English and we could always give them the Yoruba.
All right. This essay, Ifa says, dishonesty does not pay anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Wickedness is beneficial to none.
So none.
When a dishonest person lots his treasury, his conscience pricks him persistently.
Mm-hmm.
These were the declarations of Ifa the Sagbayirian, who was the head of the honest people. Pray, be honest, be truthful. Those who are honest, the deity
The ATs will
supports. You
support.
remember I was telling you
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
about it earlier. All
Mm-hmm.
right, let me read the Yoruba very quick.
Yeah.
Eke a a oku mi, ika oku mo iya, bi ekeba en yoleda, ohu were abinu, amasio wo ni sheshe.
Hmm.
Difu sagbagiria, tise bale asitito, enje sotito sododo,
Hmm.
eni ti sotito, ni mole en bui.
Hmm.
All
Right?
right. So that is the teaching concerning truth
Hmm.
that could be found in Otura Ogunda.
Ogunda. You know, a lot of people doesn't answer Ogunda or Ogun. They always say Ogun is to clear the pathway. You know, every time we pray to Ogun, Ogun make Ogun clear the pathway for us. Ogun say, nah, to hell with all you, yes. You know why? Because we're doing what we have to do to clear ourselves away from where the obstacles in life is. But we always want Ogun to clear the obstacle. But why are you going there? Why are you involved in things that are obstructing life from moving forward? And then coming to ask me to clear away the problems that are there. You know, walk away. You know, but the hopefulness is in terms of another pillar that, you know, things will work out. If I ask Ogun to clear the obstacles, I can keep going where the trouble is. You know, I could keep going amongst the crowd that is not really progressing. So Ogunda in his individuality and collective as a Odu really speaks of how do we move away from what will obstruct us. He's supposed to keep coming to move things for you. He's not a slave. You know? The guidance is there. Now the Odu for the well, it's a public institute, so I think I can say it. Ogbeyonu has been revealed for our organization. And when I saw the Odu, I said, Ogbeyonu, Iwa nikan lo sọ̀rọ̀, Iwa nikan lo sọ̀rọ̀, Oriki buru lata ife, Iwa nikan lo sọ̀rọ̀. Character is always required. Character is always required. There's no destiny that needs to be called unfortunate in the land of Ife. Character is all that is required.
Ashe.
Right? So I'm saying, you know, once we look at our character, carry yourself in the right character. If you're not sure, we can still come and learn, take Ifa guidance. Ifa, how should I behave as Olo the Mary created me to behave? And allow Ifa to guide us. Allow your Ori now to walk. Because remember, when you do initiation, we are allowing the Ori, not just the physical head now, but the conscious head now, to take charge and start to walk on the pathway. To take on. Right? To take part on the pathway. So when we take an initiation now, we no longer walk with this physical consciousness, but we walk with a higher consciousness. But allow ourselves not to know to be struggling within ourselves. That is when now we talk about the cultural restoration. We need to restore ourselves basically by putting the right knowledge so we can apply this knowledge into our life to get the clear understanding as how we should walk. Because we could say, well, I want to walk, you know, it's not making joke, but sometimes we must be mindful when we say things because we might be, somebody may take it as a truth, but they don't understand what is the truth I'm saying. You know, this Baptist holiday, the Prime Minister was saying the song, he want to walk like David walk, you want to dance like David dance. So I'm saying with that, the Prime Minister, well, the shirt he had on is not because I UNC saying it, but the shirt he had on, if I had on that shirt and I sing the same song and I want to dance like David dance. In record, David only danced naked. No, understand what you're saying, eh? It might have sung nice, but
Baba.
no,
Leave the politics out of the community.
yeah, no, I'm not, but I'm sure I'm using the thing as when we are using things and not really in connecting it to the reality, the truth, we really would be put in a different light. So when we speak about being truthful, honest. Remember, I say we have to be honest to ourselves. You understand? If I'm not honest to myself, how can I teach people about honest? And if I'm not honest about
Yeah, but
me,
Baba,
hmm,
Baba,
uh,
we cannot mix truthfulness and politics.
no, I'm not mixing it up. I'm just saying,
I just saying, because you
yeah,
heard what the
yeah,
politicians themselves said. They say
yeah, yeah.
politics has an
No,
ethics of its
that
own.
politics.
No, no,
Uh,
listen.
but
They say it have an ethics of its own. So we can't even
uh,
talk about that if we talking politics,
I'm a
Alicia.
politician. Sorry, I'm a politician, so I'm qualified.
All right, Baba.
Yeah, I'm qualified, right? But we have to be honest to ourselves if we want to our society, because I'm still trying to, understand why are we here where we are as a community, but we are not really moving forward, but we just existing in a space. But it's not all of us, because I'm outside of the crowd, but I still have to consider the crowd because they are my children, children, and they are my bloodlines. So what is needed for my children to take a proper education? When you say a proper education, Baba, I mean a education that will bring balance into one's life. You understand? It's not just say, okay, I learn maths, yeah, but where's the balance? Are you going to learn? Just yesterday, last night, I was talking to my mother. I said, hey, pressure. I have to go in a meeting tomorrow, and I miss a whole day project. She said, well, you just leave them people and get a job. I said, no. I say, if that was to be my pathway, I really wouldn't have, I would have been out there. I said, well, it's not that I'm suffering, but I'm saying the work is so hard and it's so continuous that when people are seeing that, oh, why are you not living as others? When you say they're not living, what do you mean? Well, look, they're doing this, they're going to, yes, because that is their role. They have to do what they're doing. Now, I have two bloodlines. One from Abeokuta on my grandmother's side, and one from Ethiopia on my father's side. So what has escaped my father, my uncle, and all of them, who was there, even my brothers and sisters? But you met my sister the last live, and you understand that she can say what I did as a young man kind of brought her into the party to awareness. So if this is my calling on my priestly side from the both side, that where my fathers and father would have neglected or negated, or would have just not want to do, and I choose to do the pathway, then this is what we choose. So now this I say we have to see how do we invest in our children. Because I say, Mom, if you had knew that this was supposed to be my role, maybe your investment in me would not have been about trade and this and that, but would have put me already. And I might have been a prophet or someone on a mountain, but I would have carried the role or the responsibilities of my ancestors, who may have needed somebody to do the work for them to elevate. So now, same as how I could come to that awareness, there are many others like me. So it's not to say I knew this and I tried to. No, it's only recently I found out. I say, okay, well, doing a family tree, and they say, well, okay, my uncle called, say, well, but they say, my great grandfather was an emperor somewhere in Ethiopia, and my grandfather on the next side, great was some big chief in Abeokuta. So two different cultures, but I always found myself balanced because I could lace with Christians and I could lace with people in tradition so comfortable. Not knowing there was something innate in us, we just call it inertia, which there's a subconscious action in you that could fit into something and you're just operating within that. We don't like to talk too much about manifestation. And I tell people, manifestation is not catching spirit. That is a possession. Sorry.
All right, Baba. I want to read
Right.
another Odu.
Uh-huh.
That talks a little bit about hopefulness. Just a little. It just mentioned
Yeah.
it right here. Right? This is Oshe Iwori,
Mm.
right? And the essay Ifa deals with destiny, hope, prayer, coolness, and patience,
Mm.
right? This essay Ifa reads Baba of destiny, which is faith,
Faith.
Baba of purity, which is
Mm.
hopefulness,
Mm.
Baba of supplication, which is prayer, owner of coolness, which is contentment, and
Mm.
master of deliverance, which is relief.
Mm.
Destiny is the praise name of Ori.
Mm.
Kasi for divination for Ori.
Mm.
Hopefulness is the praise name of Oshanla.
Mm.
Kasi for divination for Oshanla.
Mm.
Supplication is the praise name of Oronmila.
Aaron Miller.
Cast Ifa
Mm.
divination for Oronmila. Coolness is the offspring of Oshun. So cast Ifa divination for Oshun. Deliverance is the praise name of Osain. So cast Ifa divination for Osain.
Mm.
When they were seeking after the good place in life, called perfect Ire,
Mm.
but while staying in different places, not knowing why things have not changed to their liking.
Mm.
Why is it that I have Ire, but still feel this emptiness inside?
Mm.
They asked Oludumare. Patience, the offspring of Oludumare,
Mm.
cast Ifa divination for the five of them and told them to combine and be
Mm.
always working together in the same
Mm.
place
Mm.
together. And the
Mm.
feeling of fullness and content will be theirs. Enough
Exactly.
so
Ashe.
that it will engulf the world over all existence.
Mm.
They were told to make Ebor large enough that as long as any person who deploys all your attributes with earnest in the world will enjoy the fruits of your effort.
Mm.
They heard the Ebor and performed it fully. They were since praising their Babalawo, who would then praise Ifa,
Mm.
and Ifa will justly be singing the daily praises to Oludumare.
Mm.
Come and meet us in complete
Incomplete
satisfaction.
happiness.
It is in complete satisfaction that one is normally found at the feet of the king of the Orisha.
Mm.
In this Udu, Ifa is laying the emphasis on attaining Ire,
Mm.
but not just ordinary Ire, but true Ire Bogbo, meaning all kinds of Ire,
Mm.
which is the important aspect of total and complete well being, of
Well-being.
a sense of comfort and satisfaction in one's life. Our lives can be filled with certain pleasures that come and go, but sometimes we still have a feeling of emptiness. Ifa says if one incorporates these aspects of faith, hope, prayer, contentment, relief, and patience, we will enjoy a life of sweetness and easiness.
Mm.
All right?
Yes, Ashe.
And
Ashe.
yeah,
Ashe. Ashe.
yeah, man.
No.
That is our essay, Ifa.
Yeah. No, and this was saying, and you understand where you connect. Oral Miller, Osain, Obatala. It connects
Oshun, don't forget
Yorisha,
Oshun. Don't leave out
Oshun.
Oshun.
Yeah.
But
So
the key is working
they
together.
working together. And
Yeah.
this what I say people, when we say Ifa Orisha, it ain't mean just we you do Ifa and all the Orisha stay aside. There have to be a collaborative. So I say, yes, you Orisha people practice something, it have a solidity in it, but they know they're missing some information. They can't know, nobody can deny it. There are things that they are missing within their thing. When I say missing, what is the true education? What's the information that really this? You know? So if I was supposed to be the Orisha that brings the wisdom, if Orisha people know how to ask the question, or if our people ask the question correctly, we could go to the source. Baba, who's Gurum? Is Gurum Orisha? Is Gurum of such? Is Gurum what is the Odu that I can understand the nature of Gurum? And you could get it. When the vision of Babaji came to me and they tell me Babaji in my head, Babaji, Babaji, I go and I start to die. Because when I go Google the time of Babaji in India, but they didn't say no Babaji, they say Orisha Babaji. Now, Babaji is a Orisha of intelligence. It's a Orisha that deals with reasoning and all these different things. They say it's a Orisha of the thunderstorm. So, I go to Ifa. Then, when I do for Watala, so I go on to go through some of the story and researching some of the essay. And I speak about this situation in Ilandre with Oduduwa, when Oduduwa was getting trouble, and then I go back and start to check the history. Then I go to about Baba G, which was an Orisha that was close with Oduduwa. And they go to the whole story, what take place and how, and he left because, he wanted the solitude, the peace, the contentment, because he said, I like the tongue, They are set a no, because when a man has so much thing on his mind, reasoning this and that, he don't want to hear no jaga jaga and all kind of thing going on. So it shows that if we really sit together as Ifa Orisa community people and even Ifa Orisa Baptist African sit together to understand our past, our history, and who are we, and how we can move forward, how we can restore the community that we had. Because you hear about a Yoruba village in Port of Spain. You might have a Yoruba village somewhere in Moruga, and I see somewhere in Tingitada, Yoruba, what is call it? Mojuba. I say, Mojuba village or Mojuba road. And then you hear, it used to have a parley, some Africans used to. So there's a history, but it's not restored and it's not respected in the society. So we could bring it back, but with a level of proper understanding and a proper knowledge.
No, well, Baba, from the essay Ifa that I just read, it talks about everybody bringing their particular abilities, coming together and combining, right? In the same place, right? That's the only how we're gonna get fullness and contentment.
Exactly.
And all Ire, then say just one form.
One Ire, all of the Ire, all of the
Ire Bogbo. All Ire.
And I think we have to understand when we ask for Ire, are we sure we know what we're asking for, that when it manifests before us, we can really receive it? You understand? But it said we can work to make the Ires manifest for us, because it has manifest.
Definitely, Baba.
It has manifest. Especially when it coming from Orisha and Ifa. It has manifest because we did the above. We made the sacrifice.
Definitely.
And this is where I said the 4 pillars of Ifa. It ain't saying no things that are hard to get. And it's same thing with the essay that you have just read. We speak about patience, we speak about humility, hopefulness, because that is what it's saying. They speak about honesty.
Yes,
it's still always go different direction.
Hopefulness, prayer, contentment, relief.
You understand? Because all the pillars, every part aspect of the pillars are there. So it's saying it's a strong house. Ifa is not a wavering house. If we can build it on sand, mud, slush, Ifa will still stand up strong. We say Ifa lolo ni, Ifa lolo la, Ifa lolo tuna pelwe, Ifa rules today, Ifa rules tomorrow, Ifa rules the day after tomorrow. So sometimes if we're not sure about today, we can ask Ifa. If you're not sure about tomorrow, we can ask Ifa. If you're not sure about what happened the day after tomorrow, which means years to come, we can still ask Ifa. I bet you dollars it will be correct. I was telling.
As the essay Ifa talk about, having the individual gifts is one thing, but not being organized, where everything could be brought together, would be nothing but chaos and confusion.
Yeah, exactly.
And as a community, What we need when we talk about coming together, we are just talking about having a festival. Eh?
No, no,
We're
no, no.
talking about individuals bringing their respective abilities, qualities, character, and melding into each other in an organized fashion, right? Doing an abundance of ebo
Mm,
that could cover every need of the community and everything that the new community desires,
mm.
and then working together in a very orderly,
In an
in a very
orderly fashion.
patient
Mhm.
fashion, in order so that we may be able to invite all the forms of area that we need.
Exactly. And as you're speaking of, there there's a essay or is essay for Cameroon, but they speak of the seer versus Ifa. But it's not really versus, but using the seer versus Ifa. So the story what I speak of when Ormila went to the market, he went and bought a crab. A crab they call adagba. Adagba is also the process where there's do when there's do divination with two pele. Right? But the Yoruba terms I say there are people who could correct me if I'm using the wrong term. Adagba. So Adagba went and learned, the crab went and learned to practice with Ormila. And he would learn well, but he had his own gift. So when Ormila went away, he went to a time, so all of him called for divination, and Ormila wasn't there, so Adagba the crab, he went to do the divination. But he used his own talent as a seer. And he said, Olofin, you have to do a board that your wives may give children. You have 200 wives and they are not giving birth. So you have to give 200 this, 200 that, 200 that as a board and pay 200 inch worth to me. And they did the board. And 9 months after, all the wives of Olofin began to give birth. But sometime before they gave birth, Oren Miller had came back into the town and he went to Soifin and he said, well, Adagba is doing well, good work. He has proclaimed that my wives will give birth and look, all is pregnant right now and they'll be making children soon. He said, he has done well, but he did not go all the way. He said, Oren Miller, are you jealous of the crab because you train him and he has done well? He said, nah, seer may see well, but Ifa goes to the root and Ifa goes all the way into the story. He said, Emilia, for your being so insolent and disrespectful for this man who have served me well, we will punish you. So 9 months after the day was the same day they were to do the punishing of Orimila. All the wives would have made children. So they had 199 children. So one of the wives was still in problem, giving labor problems. I can't remember the term, them ladies will know the term. But when they had reached the point to do the assassination of Orimila, the same period, the child gave birth, but to twins. So it will come as if I would have said 201 shall be birthed to the Olofin. And that the 200 as the seer would see. So it is saying, yes, they are gift, but any spiritualist, any diviner, any person who would practice any spirituality and say that Ifa is not in par or Ifa is below, it's not to say Ifa is better, but remember, if Ifa is the matrix of our spirituality, the principle of life existence, then you have to give it its due. And I think this is how we're supposed to let people understand when it comes to Ifa. Do we as practitioners of Ifa give Ifa its due? We have to be honest. Because if we don't give it its due as practitioners of Ifa, how would we expect others that they may give it the respect that we're supposed to give it? They say for the king, with his elekes, is just as equal in authority as the Babalawo. Really mean the same respect. You give the king the same respect you give to a Babalawo. So in terms of our practice, there's a lot of things we need to restore. And there's a lot of things we need to reconnect with, especially when we speak in terms of us going forward. So I'll shift a little into what we talk about when you talk about ancestry or ancestral spirits, because most of what we practicing, and when we talk about restoration, we want to restore the dignity, the pride, the integrity, and all the good characters of our ancestors. Now, not
Definitely, Baba.
who just passed and who we would have known recently, who was also following what was laid, because we just try to identify those who was following what was laid as the person who would have set the foundation, where they would have been following from something somebody taught them, and not would have been those who would have laid the foundation to what we know of as practitioners of today.
Baba,
Ah.
if we're talking about reinstituting what is of our past, right? I want to go a little deep here, and I want to talk a little bit about our history, our unique history in Trinidad. Right? The most predominant group of all the people who came to Trinidad among the Yorubas would have been the people from Oyo. We had groups coming in from Sierra Leone. We had groups coming in from St. Helena. We had groups coming in from Benin. We had groups of West Africans coming. We had Central Africans from the Congo coming here. We had East Africa. We had some Ethiopians coming here. We had people from Ghana coming here. We had people from Gambia coming here, Senegambia. So if our intention is to reinstitute, the question is going to be, how far back do we go?
No,
which you just mentioned.
Restore to the principles, because all those places you would have called, they would have been an Afrocentric principle. You understand? Where full respect is to the divine. Second respect is to one's ori, or one's consciousness. That's why they all, even those who would have been living where it had no water, they know how to keep themselves clean in sand. So the principles, that's how far back. Let me go back to the principles that gave us the dignity to walk amongst the deities, to walk within the deity. So if you want, not Egypt, which one of the Egypt you go? The Egypt that lost it or the Egypt that established it? Which one in Oyo will go? The Oyo that lost it or the Oyo that established? So there'll always be a factor when you look at, when we say how far to go back. But I'm saying, let me go back to the principles. We don't need to go back to the region or to a people, but go back to the principles. When we talk about ancestral, we always talk about ancestors Egungun. But Egungun is a collective of ancestors. Now, what Eguntan Baba, which is your paternal ancestors, Eguntan Lashe, which is Alasho, that is the what you call the masquerade deities. Then you have the Eguntan Onimo, which is from Ifa. Eguntan Oriodo, Shango, who sits on the mortar. Because remember, a lot of us come from Oyo, and that will be basically the Shango we're supposed to connect with, and that ancestral line of Shango. Sits in the mortar. Remember, I was talking about mortar and pistol last week.
Yes,
a big part of our tradition. Egutan Oru, the witches, Ma Nita, Ma Maila, Ma Des, Ma Rose, Ma Pearl, all them Ma that we had that everybody used to go to, that was our witches. That was our yamis. And then you had the Eguta Iya, which is your maternal ancestors. So when I check in link with my maternal ancestors, that's where my Orisha pathway. My grandfather came from Tobago, and he hated Baptists until late in his life he became baptized. I'm speaking after him and my grandmother, because they used to have bacchanal when she go prayers, and when I meet my grandfather's sisters and things from Tobago, her aunt, they have their pali, their shrines in Tobago. And when I look at the history of my great-grandmother in Point, when she used to live Point before she went to Larmin, and everybody knew Ma Maila because Chikota Larmin, who was original Larian people would have been birthed by her hands as the midwife. And they would have also been healed because she was the herbalist, the Ma lady, Ma Maila. You understand? So your child off, you go by Ma Maila.
Baba,
So
we have 5 more minutes before
yeah,
the hour.
so there's a wide span of ancestral connections you also need to connect with. So when you say how far, it's not going back to them, but go back to the principles in which they would have stand on to apply those principles in our life, that when we stand on those 4 pillars, we won't be wobbling, but we will stand up strong as a community.
Well, Baba, I think in essence the principles that you're speaking of, I think we have those, we never lost those. But the as far as the practice is concerned, the important part of the practice I think is going to be we're using the principles, but we must maintain some sort of pragmatism, because what is available there is not available here. So
apply the principles in what we practice. So when we use a song, let us be truthful in our prayers, let us be truthful in our songs, let us be truthful in our practice. Omi tutu na tutele tutulolo Johnny Mojuba, but I still have vexation inside of me. I'm still heated. That if somebody do something rather than, okay, yes, we made a mistake and let me move on. But we just did Omi tutu na tutule tutu olo Johnny Ori tutu Eshu tutu. So we just invoke the cool things around us, but we still carry that heated energy. Because the Omi tutu means to cool us so we wouldn't fight. Cool our things so we wouldn't quarrel. Cool us so we wouldn't have problems. You understand? So I'm saying, be truthful. The principles, apply it. You don't have to change nothing, you know. But apply truth, apply honesty, apply all the right things into what we are doing. And we could find a restoration which we think. We don't need, when I say that, a revival, we don't need a revival. We need to restore. Because we can't expect people to bring the restoration for us. It comes like we are sitting on still waiting for reparation from politicians. So we sit back in our advocacy, and not by keeping advocating and working towards it, the politician form a reparation committee to fight for us, and they are sitting on it. The 10 years, the decade of African people is coming to an end. What has we achieved?
I want to acknowledge a few people. Like one of the persons greeted us here. And then one made a comment. They say everything has been watered down. I think that is what they're saying there. And then we had a
because of lack of education. That's the lack of education. And yeah, auntie. I say we are waiting a visit into Trinidad. We have to keep a festival on her arrival. All right. So I said, in our growth forward, it's not just about talk. There are small things that we can do, but if we have to do more. People have to come and support. People have to come and make a contribution. Either way, come and use your talent, your gift, your wisdom, your understanding. Let us pull to make things happen for the change, restoration. You understand? Let us carry our messages wider, share the messages, have discussions, and so next time they come and ask questions, come and sit. It asks us for open air public forum functions, and we can do it too. And speak with the crowd. All right? So until next time, we were looking at doing Ita Dogun, a 16-day prayer cycle. All right? We have another elder had asked that if we could, he's also interested, so I said we'll do one at his residence. So I'll check the calendar. All right, so once it's confirmed, we can invite people to come experience a 16-day prayer cycle, what's called this Ita Dogun. All right, on this 16th day, what Ifa is saying, what is the Ita, that will be revealed. All right, so until that next Friday, we'll give information, or in between on the other messages, we could share the information, and we can have some form of our movement with our people. Yeah. Subscribe, share, stay connected, and you'll get plenty more of this on it. Ashe?
All
So I say
right. So
about
viewers, Abora Aboya Abosheshe, thanks for viewing. And with that, we would say Ekobo. See you next week.
Ekabo.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe. At the
All
end
right.
of this video, there would be another video. Please view the video, and we will join us next week.
Ashe.
Odabo.
Odabo. All right. We.